What's up, Delivery fam, and welcome to another episode of Chop It Up Live. Today we're going to be interviewing, and I will give you guys the opportunity to call in and ask some questions. We got the VP of Operations, all right? The VP of Operations of DeliverThat. And before we dive into anything, this video is sponsored by DeliverThat, all right? If you have any questions, make sure you write them down now. Get prepared to ask the questions, all right? I have a few questions I'm gonna be asking. I think the questions that I have is pretty good, all right? But in case I don't ask a question that you would like to ask, make sure you call in when the lines open up, all right? So, without further ado, let's get the VP of Operations up on the screen. What's up? What's up? What's up, brother? How you doing?
What's up, man? What's up? Excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
All right, this is Chris. Go ahead and introduce yourself, Chris.
Yeah, my name's Christian. I've been with DeliverThat for a little over 4 years now. I'm our VP of Operations, as Brian told you guys. But yeah, my backstory here, I started out as a driver. Went on the ride-along process when that was how we were onboarding drivers. Got a chance to meet our founder, one of our two co-founders, Aaron Hoffman. Yeah, and I loved the concept, loved the idea. It was very small. We were in about 3 or 4 cities, and I've been here ever since.
All right, so what year was that?
That was in 2017 that I went on my ride-along.
Oh, so they were still doing ride-alongs in 2017.
Absolutely. Yeah, I want to say we did that all the way up until the pandemic really started.
All right. So let me ask you before I get into my list of questions here. When did they do away with the ride-alongs?
Yeah, it was really, I believe it was beginning of 2020, April or March of 2020, is when we started doing the virtual onboarding process that you guys would see today.
That's awesome. All right. So without further ado, I want to jump into these questions because I know these subscribers, they get a little antsy sometimes.
Let's do it.
Oh, you're ready. He's rubbing his hands, y'all.
Let's do it.
So I want to get into these questions because I know some of them are still in lunch rush and they're out there getting their money as much as they can. Even if it's towards the ending of lunch rush, we had to schedule something that would work for you and work for me at the same time. So let's jump into these questions. And then I'm going to give some shout outs after the fact, all right? Towards the ending if you want to shout out, okay? So let's dive into this. So what is DeliverThat? Like, some people will be like, if I bumped into another driver on the road, right? Oh, let's just say you bumped into another driver on the road. They see you have the DeliverThat shirt on, and then they ask you, hey, what is DeliverThat?
Yeah, I would, I guess, bumping into another driver on the road, I would explain, obviously, the gig economy nature of it, compare it to the other gig apps so they have kind of a frame of reference for what exactly you're speaking on. And really our big difference is just the pre-scheduled nature of our deliveries, of our routes, and the catering specific focus that we've taken to the market. So we've definitely explored some other avenues, taken some grocery deliveries here and there across the country, taken some route-based like individually packaged meals. But catering is ultimately our hedgehog concept and our bread and butter. So I think I always use the other platforms as a frame of reference and then make it all about catering.
That's interesting. I didn't know y'all did groceries and all that. Y'all tried all that?
Hey, you got to try it. You got to try it.
You got to see what works, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
All right. Let's go on to the next one. All right. Can you explain the dress code and is it mandatory?
Yeah, great question. Definitely something that lots of people get confused about as they're getting started with us and driving with us. So the dress code is more of a recommendation from us, right? You always want to blend in with your environment, and we're doing a lot of corporate catering sales meetings, things like that. So you're going into corporate environments, hospitals. Always want to make sure you're dressed the part, especially when you're taking high ticket orders. Sometimes you could be delivering thousands of dollars of food. It's important to represent the restaurant that you're delivering for well. It's important to represent yourself well and our brand ultimately well while you're out in the field. That being said, as contractors with DeliverThat, nothing about our platform is mandatory, so to speak. These are kind of our recommendations to make sure that restaurants aren't reporting back to us issues with you as a driver. Ultimately, we allow these restaurant brands to give us feedback and be transparent with us like we are with them. So it's really just the standard is set so that we don't run into those issues and drivers aren't getting banned from specific locations, because that does tend to happen.
All right. So I know I've seen drivers on the road that, with other apps where, it just seems very inappropriate the way that they're dressed. I've seen some people that they're in pajamas.
Yeah.
This is not a question on the list, but what if someone just shows up in a pajama and they are not reported by the restaurant and they're not reported by the customer either? Then is there going to be some kind of issue of any sort?
No, that's the interesting part about, a platform of this size. We don't always have eyes and ears on the ground, right? So we really rely on, drivers to report issues that happen with restaurants, and restaurants to then in turn report issues with drivers. So we're really relying on all parties here. So yeah, that would be a situation where you got one over on us or over on the restaurant, and business as usual.
Okay. All right. So let's move on to the next question here. By drivers for drivers. That's the slogan, right?
That's it.
Yeah. Okay. So by drivers for drivers. Does it actually mean that the staff at DeliverThat have taken orders to kind of like get the driver experience?
Absolutely. So yeah, we onboard, we even interview with the vision of by drivers for drivers. That's something people are told when they interview here at corporate, all the way through their onboarding process. That's really our mantra that we stick to. So each person here in their first 30 days will go out and take a catering delivery, if not 2 catering deliveries, and see what a route experience is like. And especially if they're going to be on the front lines talking to drivers to support them on live deliveries, we'll do that in their first week here with us. And I guess the inspiration for the by drivers for drivers, everyone on our leadership team, so to speak, all started out either as a founder of the company, and they were really taking all of the deliveries at that time, or they started out as drivers with us and kind of worked their way into the corporate life.
I remember meeting one person. I don't remember his name, and I don't remember, to be honest, I don't remember what he looks like. Okay. This was so many years ago when I first signed up, but I just never finished the sign up process. So I remember the whole point was I was supposed to meet him in Miami, and I was supposed to ride along with him, but I'm like, ride along? At the time, I'm just being honest. At the time, I'm like, ride along? I ain't doing no ride along. Right? Yeah. That's how I felt. I'm not doing no ride along. So I just never did that. But I do recall having a conversation with someone. It's just, I don't remember the face. I just remember having a conversation face to face with someone. I think I was doing another app downtown Miami, and I saw them. And I think they probably like sparked the conversation, asked me what I'm doing, and then they were telling me they're doing this other thing, and I'm like, what? Tell me more. And then I just can't remember the whole entire conversation. It was too long ago. All right. Yeah. So without telling more about my story, let's get through the rest of these questions. All right. Yeah. So now, you ready? We're gonna go into the meat and potatoes. All right. All right, so drivers nationwide have dealt with a ton of on other gig economy apps, right? From unfair terminations to constant pay cuts. Why should we, as a driver community, put our trust in DeliverThat? And how can we trust that DeliverThat will be different than the others with the bad experiences that we've had?
For sure. Yeah, this is it's obviously a tough one, because I understand exactly what you're saying, and I see the news articles, I see the evolution of some of these companies, and it's alarming, to see drivers taken advantage of, to see them use rating systems aggressively towards drivers to make you guys accept deliveries that are no good for you and don't work with, what you're looking for as far as compensation, things like that. The biggest thing that I think really sticks out to me is just the way in which the business is run from the top for some of these companies, right? So a lot of these companies will start out as technology companies. And what they've done, like what the Uber model is, or some of these other industry giants, is really going for market share, right? And they're trying to aggressively expand, oversaturate markets with drivers. so that they're then able to really corner the entire industry that they're playing in. For DeliverThat, we really started out with drivers having our cell phone numbers, communicating with them, going to different cities to do these ride-alongs, meeting people face to face. So that's kind of the core that we come from. But also, we've never gone the route of becoming a strictly technology company, right? We're not trying to sell technology as a service right now. We're not trying to expand and corner the marketplace of anything. We really view this as an ecosystem, right? And that's not just an ecosystem of drivers and contractors. That's also an ecosystem of delivery service providers, right? We look at it all encompassing. So from the restaurants to the marketplaces, the end consumer, the contract drivers themselves, and then the other delivery service providers like ourselves, right? I think the entire world is shifting towards delivery. So there's really enough to go around for everyone, so to speak. We encourage our drivers to drive on other platforms. We encourage our larger partners to have other delivery partners in their stack and not just rely on DeliverThat. So that's really our perspective is that this is an ecosystem and that there's more than enough to go around for everyone. To the pay model thing, lots of that has happened with these other companies, especially after they realize that they've oversaturated a market with drivers, and now they're able to kind of cut back on some of the expenses, right? Again, though, I would point back to the approach from the top of those businesses, right? They're going for market share, and aggressively quarter after quarter, month after month, they're losing money. And then at some point, there's a lot of outside investments. There's a lot of board members who have to kind of push certain buttons and change levers. Unfortunately, that typically comes at the expense of the consumer and the expense of the driver, whether that's lower pay rates for you all or that's more expensive prices for their end consumer. So our approach is definitely not that. It's not like it's a venture capital funded business with lots of people pulling different strings on top of us. Our approach is to have a healthy business so that we can take care of the people here in our office and in turn continue to take care of the drivers.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Did I hit it all? You got any follow-up?
Yeah. I'm like, okay. All right. It's like sometimes it's like when I interview other individuals on the stream, it's like they would say certain things and then I would want to challenge them on another part of what their answer is, So I'm like, okay, you literally just gave me, I couldn't challenge you, to be honest. Maybe somebody else in the chat can. Maybe there's something I probably missed or something. But as far as I go, I'm ready to go to the next question. That was a really good answer, in my opinion. All right. So let's go on to the next question. But before we go on to the next question, I want to put this screenshot on the screen. All right. Now, this right here is a fake screenshot, a fake order. Okay. And most drivers would like upfront payouts, right? This is not a question, but towards the ending, I would like to see if you agree or disagree with me, okay? Now, most drivers would like upfront payouts, just like the other gig economy apps that are very popular. I'm leaving their names out for the sake of, we're talking about DeliverThat in this one, right? So they would like to see upfront payouts, right? But I would like to explain why I prefer to accept, then analyze. And then you could agree or disagree with my reasoning as the VP of Operations. All right?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so DFAM, the reason why I would prefer to accept and then analyze is because we're all competing for orders. And if I would see the one at the top of the screen, let's say 5 orders come through. The one at the top of the screen is $50. The one below that is $20. How many of you would actually go for the $50? You'll probably go for the $50 first, which would then make the $50 order that much more competitive to grab, right? And I said, well, to make it less competitive, what if I just accept it and then I get to see there's $50 on it? I prefer seeing that there's $50 on the back end after I accept it, because at the same time with DeliverThat, I get the option to, okay, just drop it if I don't want it, right? Well, as long as it's within a certain amount of time the rules, right? As long as it's within the rules, right? So if I see it just popped up on my screen, I don't see the full payout up front, and then I accept it, and then I get to see how much is actually paying me and the order cost, and then I can make my final decision. I prefer the accept then analyze feature, which would make it less competitive for grabbing that offer. That's why so go ahead. Do you agree or disagree as a buy driver, for driver? Did I say it right? I said it backwards.
Buy driver, for driver.
Do you agree or disagree?
Yeah, no, I completely agree with all of your points there. And to be honest, I hadn't really thought about it too much from that perspective, but everything that you're articulating makes perfect sense. I think for me, and the way that I view these things is, as long as the flexibility is there for everyone as a driver, like you said, you can accept these deliveries, you can review all of the order details, and that could be order costs, that could be distance, that could be the payment to you as the driver, or it could be the special delivery instructions, right? It might be going 1 mile, but going to the 25th floor, and you try to steer clear of those. But for us, it's always been allowing that to be the process and making sure that we're not, rating people based on their acceptance rate with us. So there is no rating for drivers to accept deliveries, review the offers in a timely manner, and then offer those back out to the field. So we allow that all the way up until 3 hours before the pickup time. And I think that's a powerful way of allowing you guys as drivers to analyze all of the order details, and then decide what works and what doesn't work for you. So while you do have to accept the offer, quote unquote, you're really not committed to the job until you're inside that 3 hour window, which I think gives you guys plenty of opportunity to review every aspect of the job and really make the best decision for yourselves.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So I appreciate you agreeing with me. I don't know if anyone else would. If you disagree with me, if you're watching on the replay, please let me know in the comment section down below why you disagree. Right. I truly feel, as a fellow driver, I want it to be the least competitive while I'm trying to grab an order. And it's already competitive, and I love competition, but not everyone. I always get these comments where, man, I try to grab an order and then it just disappeared. It said it's offered to another driver, So I'm like, well, that makes it more competitive. I love that competition. I'm like, when I hear bling bling,
yep,
I'm there. I try to grab it as quickly as possible because I know if it sits too long, it's gonna disappear. So I like that. I love the competition, but maybe not everyone enjoys that level of competing. I'm in a very busy market. I know in some slower markets, I've heard some drivers vent about the fact that their market is slower, but they also have a decent amount of drivers, so they don't get enough order volume. And since there's not enough order volume, they don't have many options. There's another one might not drop immediately like it would here in South Florida. But I also understand that in South Florida, I enjoy the competition, but the competition is just a thing for me. I'm sorry. It's like, that's just what it is. If you challenge me right now, Chris, and you tell me, I bet you can't do 6 orders in a day, I will say, I bet you I can, and I will literally try to grab everything I can so I could do it, and I could prove you wrong, because that's the competitive edge. That's just me as a driver, as a person. I love to compete, right? But in the end, yes, I'm going to be making my money, but let's get back to the questions. All right. We could talk some more after the fact. All right. So let's go to the next question. I only have a few more questions, fam. So please prepare your questions. I'm going to open up the lines very soon. Prepare your questions. All right. So before I do that, let's get this on the screen right here. As you can see, delivery commission is $21.17. All right. Extra mileage commission is $7.20. Then the gratuity is $18.74, and then there's an adjustment of $10. Now, the next few questions are going to be related to what you see on the screen here. Okay. Now, can you explain what causes the delivery commission to increase from $7?
Absolutely. That'll be the order cost and the distance from where it's being picked up to being where it's being dropped off. Those are really the primary and almost exclusive factors for the base delivery commission.
So you said where it's being picked up to where it's being dropped off. So there's
the mileage.
So there's mileage computed into the delivery commission as well?
There is, yes.
So the
base commission.
So the base commission and then the extra mileage commission both have mileage. Is both consider mileage?
Yep. So the extra mileage commission will start to kick in anytime it's over 10 miles.
Right.
Yep. So that's when that starts to get factored in there.
Oh, wow. That's interesting. So
yeah.
Is it on a per mile basis? Is there like a number that you can give us? Like every mile, like say if it's 9 miles, every mile there's like 25 cents or 5 cents towards the base. Can you
honestly not. I'm not positive under the 10 miles what exactly it is. I'm not positive right now.
Okay. All right.
Well, if I knew, I would tell you. Yeah, I'm not positive.
But that's very interesting to hear that with the base commission that mileage is considered. But I would like to get that information if it's possible. Yeah. I would like to get that information so I could share it with the community so they could have a better understanding of why the base commission looks the way that it does.
Absolutely. Right? And the primary factor for that is going to be the size of the order every time. What's the order cost?
Okay. All right. So let's go on to the second part here. All right. I'm going to leave this one on the screen here. All right. Now, are there any plans to make order selection less competitive for drivers?
Absolutely. I think that right now we've scaled at such a rapid rate, right, in the number of markets that we're operating in, that now it's very important for us to look at things city by city. Exactly like you touched on, you're down in the South Florida area, and there's lots of deliveries there. In other markets, that might not be the case. There's definitely some lower tier cities that we have with less offers, like you mentioned. And that ultimately comes from DeliverThat not being an aggregator of orders. So what I mean by that is no one can go to DeliverThat.com and order food directly from DeliverThat. We're not a marketplace. We're not advertising or marking up food on different restaurants and have them under our platform, right? We're strictly by drivers for drivers. We supply quality drivers to these restaurants and marketplaces, not aggregate our own orders. So to combat that, I mean, I guess there's kind of a two-prong approach for us. It's getting more deliveries as we continue to grow the driver count. It's being able to source more restaurant partners, more marketplace partners, and get more order offers coming to you guys. And the second piece to that is just the technology changes that are going on in our platform, right? Having drivers given the ability to give us their availability, select certain windows of times that they'd like to see orders, and kind of, like you mentioned, loving the competition, kind of taking some of that competition and that burden away of having to rapidly get to your phone, because we'll be able to, I guess, map these deliveries and offer you the deliveries that are closest to you, rather than deliveries that may be a little bit far or outside of your radius where you'd like to take deliveries. So I think that's kind of our two-prong approach, attacking this with technology and then also sourcing more deliveries. So if we can offer it to a more specific group of drivers, that helps cut down some of the competition. And obviously, if we can provide more supply of delivery offers, that'll help a lot with the competition as well.
All right. Now, let's go back to this one here. This is another screenshot, by the way. The previous one was this one, $21 delivery commission with the $18.74 gratuity. Now, let's look at the adjustment. All right. The adjustment section of this one has $10 and this one has $20. Okay. So let's look at this one here. Delivery commission is $26.07. Extra mileage commission is $6.60. There's no surge on this. There's a gratuity of $18.74. There's $20. All right, so just looking at this really quick, we got $32.67, then we got $52.67, then this is roughly what, $70-something. $70 and some change. All right. So let me ask you, is there an incentive for completing large orders? Explain how does that work? Because sometimes I see this adjustment. There's an adjustment. It applies not on everyone, but whenever I take a large order, and when I say large, I don't mean the $600 orders and above. I mean like when it's like over $1,000. I see like on this one here, which one is it? This one. That was an $1,100 order. But this one here, I believe, was a $1,500 order. Okay. So I want to know the adjustment. Is there like some kind of adjustment or incentive for large orders over $1,000?
Yeah, so I think the first thing is to be transparent and make sure it's crystal clear what would go in as an adjustment and what would go in as an incentive, right? Okay. Anything in the adjustment line, those are things that we're actually charging to our partners. So we put that in there for things like return trips. If you have wait time at a restaurant, that's where you'll see your wait time commissions go into, is under that adjustments. So that's something that we're actually going to be charging to another party. Incentives and the surge line, that would be coming straight from DeliverThat. So back to kind of your original question for, the reason for the $10 versus the $20. These are instances where it can depend on the contract that we're dealing with for why the adjustments are different. There could be communication between us and our partner asking for additional compensation on behalf of you as the driver. And then that's a pass through directly to that adjustment line. And then similarly for the incentives, just on the flip side, coming out of our pocket, those will be for large orders that we understand that the base commission, maybe the mileage and the gratuity are not adequate compensation for the work that's going to go into that order. And that's when you see incentives go in there. You can also see that on very long distance deliveries. Mm-hmm. We've taken some very long distance deliveries, and that typically will go in as an adjustment or incentive as well, depending on if we're charging that to an external party or if DeliverThat's paying that out of pocket.
All right. Thank you for explaining that, because I was entirely confused, right? Like, why one say 10, one say 20, and then I've forgotten one that says 65, and then another one that says 40, and I'm like, what's going on here? Like, what's all this? And sometimes it does not show before I even complete the order. Sometimes it shows after, and sometimes it shows before. So I'm like, okay, okay, I'll take it. Yeah. So at least I have a better understanding now.
For sure. And there's a lot of things that can go into at what point in the delivery's life cycle that it gets added to it. Mm-hmm. But I believe that this will continue to evolve and to change for our business, is how these very large orders are compensated. I don't know that you'll always see them be adjustments and incentive, but everything I just described is exactly how it is right now.
Okay. Now, the very last question I have here, and then we're going to open up the lines. I'm going to just pretty much let everybody know that they can, look at the scrolling ticker at the bottom, and then I'm going to put this link for everyone to click on if they wish to call in, but they can't dial a number right now. I'm going to put this link in the chat, and I suggest you go ahead and click on that and and fill out the information it's asking, so you could be in the queue. Okay, so you can start getting ready to ask your questions. This is my last question for Chris. All right, short for Christian. All right. This one is pertaining to the Deliver More bonus. Okay. Now, I had a screenshot. I did not put it into the system, and I don't want to go searching for it, so I'm not going to put it on the screen. But the Deliver More bonuses, I I think it's bronze, silver, gold, and platinum. That's the tiers, right? All right. At the very bottom, it says about the qualifications. How do you qualify for it? It says if you have more than one incident, then you will not qualify. Would you mind explaining what is an incident?
Yeah, so for us, that's anytime that one of our direct policies or standards that we've set up for drivers from the time they're onboarded through their time partnering with DeliverThat has been violated, and in turn causes a refund for the customer, the restaurant, etc. So that obviously there's things that happen, and only documented incidents that have been reviewed by our driver relations team and confirmed, the driver was at fault and there was no extenuating circumstances here. Do those get filed as incidents against the driver's profile? And then in turn, multiple of those during the quarter can discredit you or disqualify you, so to speak, from the delivering more bonus.
Okay. So far as of right now, no one has called in. Maybe it's either they chickened out, Chris, or I asked some pretty good questions. They don't need to ask. They don't need to ask any questions. All right, but let's just see here. I'm gonna go to the chat and they're gonna pop up on the screen, and I'm gonna try to pick some questions from here. Okay, but unfortunately, fam, if your question doesn't make it on the screen, it would be easier if you called in. All right, we do have a call in the queue, but let me get one from the chat first. All right, let's see here. Let's see. All right, so Michael Myers, very interesting name, right? Does DeliverThat offer any safety features, like if I needed to be protected from a psychopathic lunatic?
That's good. Well, Michael Myers, I would just say not to my knowledge.
All right, just to answer this question, just in case anyone else is wondering, Nat says, is there a direct number? Because it's saying that they need to set up an account. I can't call in, but I'm trying. Okay, so the number is at the bottom of the screen, 754-399-3941. Now, we do have a caller in the queue. Are you ready to take this call, Chris?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Let's take the first call. Thank you for calling Chop It Up Live. Who are we speaking to?
This is Josh.
Josh, what's up, brother? How you doing? Yep. Can you hear him, Chris?
Good. I got 2 questions.
Wait. Your background sounds very echoey.
Hold on 1 sec.
Okay.
Yeah, let me get to my car.
So you out there in the field. You said you'll call back?
Yeah, hang up and I'll call back.
Okay, no problem. All right, we'll take the next call. All right, so let's take this next call in the queue. All right, thank you for calling Chop It Up Live, DeliverThat special. How you doing? Who are we speaking to?
Hi, this is Cynthia Phillips. I'm in Southern California.
Okay. Go ahead. Ask your questions to Chris.
I have a question about the tip pooling. I'm sure you probably get plenty of questions about this, but so far I've only completed a total of 9 orders over 8 consecutive days. My highest order total was $947.50. All these orders I've completed solo. Only 2 were less than $200. My tips do not reflect my complete payouts on these do not reflect the time, distance, and effort involved to deliver and set up these orders. I'm not sure why I should continue accepting EasyCater orders to DeliverThat when the tips are pooled, when I can go to a different delivery app and get 10% of the order total, typically, for EasyCater orders.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's a great question. Of course, we get that a lot. So I definitely appreciate you calling in and asking, Cynthia. I guess to start out, I'll just kind of explain the overall thought process to that, and then maybe tie this to some of the things that UDM and I have talked about. But first, we look at this as a way to take care of the entire community. We look at, like we touched on earlier, we look at this as an ecosystem, from restaurants to marketplaces to the drivers and then other delivery services like ourselves. That being said, we can't necessarily enforce specific things across the entire ecosystem. But our piece of that, what we look at as our driver community, is really what we're able to have the most influence on. So we're using the gratuity pool specifically with EasyCater, and exclusively with EasyCater, because of the amount of deliveries that are sent to us that have $0 tips on them, and our inability to change those things. Now, speaking on large orders, I guess that, to just wrap that up, that brings our average pay per delivery for EasyCater up significantly, to make sure that drivers who are consistently running with us are making, well over what they should be for smaller orders. And then there are times where, like you've touched on, there's larger orders where it seems like the pay doesn't reflect the time and the effort that's gone into it. I think a big part of our conversation today was around the adjustments and the incentives. And that's where I would say that money is typically made up, is in the adjustments and in the incentives. That being said, you typically and across the board see that start to happen on deliveries that are over $1,000 with us. So it sounds like maybe your specific use case here in the last 8 or 9 deliveries was just under that. And I would always tell you that what's very different about our platform is the ability to reach out to us directly. So the $900 orders may be reflected in your base commission, but there may not be an adjustment or an incentive added to them. And on our platform, you have the ability to text us, to call us, and to ask those questions up front. So just having the basic understanding that if you take a $150 order with us and get the same tip as you would on a larger order, well, you can kind of factor that in when you're reviewing and determining, do I want to take this delivery? Is that base commission change? Is that adequate? Or would I need an adjustment or an incentive to take this delivery offer? And that's where you have the ability to then text, call us, give us that feedback, and kind of proactively take care of those things as soon as you accept an offer and realize what the order total is. Did that answer some of it there?
Some of it, but I'm looking at my numbers after I got my first payout. My first direct deposit. I started looking at my numbers, and in my market, there's not a whole lot of orders that are nearby where I am based. So most of them are quite long distance. On the one that I just explained about, that one was 81.8 miles total round trip from start to finish. I lost money on that order. It actually cost me to do that delivery and setup. And most of the out of all 9 of these, I've barely made any money at all.
And that sounds
no
like
adjustments.
And is that because of your commute to get to the pickup locations? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, the commute to get there, and then of course I have to consider, as a driver, I have to consider my return as well. I know that that's not part of the picture for most gig apps, but it is still a reality.
Yeah, absolutely. No, I completely understand. And I think my perspective, or our perspective on it, is that you have the option and the ability to select those things up front. And that being said, it may be a situation where we need to turn on some zip codes that are closer to you. I would need to know a lot more specifics about where you are in reference to the delivery volume that's in your area, to really attack that as a head-on thing. But yeah, I would definitely encourage you not to take deliveries that you're losing money on or commuting that far of a distance. And I would also encourage you to utilize our hotline to text and to call, because there are opportunities where if you're headed down, especially that far, where our logistics specialist may be able to get you more deliveries while you're in that area and assist you with some routing. And there may be situations where they can add extra payment for you to make that commute. It's obviously on a case-by-case basis, very much.
Can I ask also, when you are sending out offers, is it based on like where I have been or where I am at the time? Because sometimes if I'm doing Amazon Flex, I might be, 75 miles away from my house. Who knows, right? Where they send you. You won't know until you get there. So if I'm out there during the day and I get a delivery offer, sometimes it's for that area, but that's not where I'm based, and it might be for tomorrow, and I don't know if I'm going to be there tomorrow. So is that how they're sending them out? Or it certainly doesn't seem to be based on my home location.
Before you answer, Chris, caller, I apologize, but this has to be your last question because we have a lot of people that are going. They're in the queue and they're complaining about it being a busy tone. So,
no worries.
All right,
worries.
so
I got you.
Go ahead.
Cool.
No, makes perfect sense what you're describing. So I'll say that kind of as a generalization of this, it's based on the market that you've signed up in. There are some different distribution policies and methods in specific cities across the country that are subtly different than others. But as a generalization, you'll see any delivery that's inside of that market. So any zip code that we've deemed inside of San Diego, for example, or inside of Los Angeles, for example. And that's where you see offers that are pretty far away from you. But that being said, it's not offered in most areas based on your last location or current location. That's something that we're continuing to evolve and change with. And we'll make sure to be announcing those things and communicating those transparently, because that's a very frequent complaint or feedback point that we get from drivers, that they're receiving offers that are too far away from their home to make financial sense to go take them. So I definitely have heard that, and it is something we're aggressively working on.
Thank you, gentlemen, both for all the information. Appreciate it. Have a great day.
Absolutely. You too.
All right. Now, before we take the next call, all right, there is a comment that I'm going to put on the screen here. All right. They said, Keontae Houston says, transparency is the key. Let us make an educated decision instead of hoping. What's your response to that?
Well, that's definitely the mentality that I have about all of this, right? Even joining your podcast today and interacting with drivers, going in market to do some of these in market, whether it's recruiting events or just meet and greets, as we call them, with active drivers, we're trying to be as transparent as possible. I think that no platform in the entire world is perfect. We continue to strive to get better every single day, but we certainly acknowledge where our weaknesses are, and then we aggressively make action plans to combat those things. And we really, from the top down, have a core value of transparency, whether that's internal employees here or every driver that's across the country. We're trying to be as transparent as possible.
All right. So let's take the next call in the queue. Thank you for calling another Chop It Up Live. Yeah. Thank you for calling. Who are we speaking to?
Hi. Am I on?
Yes, you are.
Oh, okay, great. Hi, I'm calling from the Southern California area, and I'm Nat. So I just have a really quick question for you. As far as the competitiveness in accepting orders, I'm really quick with the finger too. I've been doing Postmates for weeks. I was around when Postmates started, and they would give you an order, boy, you have to hit that button so quick. The question I'm asking though now is, in this new era of 2022, on CNBC, there was an article dated February 2020 where Amazon drivers are using bots to cheat their way to getting more work. Okay?
Okay.
My question is, the competitive market here, I'm sitting here, and the thing that bothers me, I may get an order here, order there, but I will have to come home. I'm literally sitting here for 4 hours. The bell rings. It doesn't even ring. Recalled by another driver. I actually had my son, who has the quickest eye-hand coordination ever. Okay, he's a fighter. I said, I want you to take this phone from me and try to see if you can catch me some orders. Mom is not that old, okay? He sat here for 2 hours. He said, Mom, if I didn't know no better, somebody's using a bot, okay? This was a big issue at Amazon Flex, and you can pull it up on Google. It's titled Amazon Flex Drivers Are Using Bots to Cheat Their Way to Get More Work. They were immediately fired. Amazon put a huge campaign out and caught those drivers. Do you feel that it's possible that some drivers, because they can pay for these apps to, like, they could be asleep and we're sitting here with the phone in our hand, desperately trying to get orders to make money, But their fleet, it accepts the orders. They wake up later and say, oh, I don't want that one. I don't want that one, and release it. So I'm feeling like, sometimes I may get one, but it's like after somebody doesn't want it. Is there anything that DeliverThat is doing to ensure that we are not drivers that are trying to be fair and we are competing with bots? I don't know how Amazon Flex caught their drivers, but they're firing them, and it's a huge issue with a new artificial intelligence. So can you tell me a little bit about that? Because it's exhausting sitting 5 and 6 hours just trying to catch an order. And then, like the lady said too earlier, I do have a lot of orders. I live in Orange County. They're hitting me in Palmdale, which is 100 miles away. I can't do those. But my main question is the artificial intelligence bot issue. Do you feel those are some drivers using them? And if you find out, how would you chase them down and get them off the platform? Because they're not being fair to the rest of us. We can't compete with a bot.
Absolutely. I appreciate this question so much. It's definitely something that's become more and more prevalent, really, for us just this year. We've seen increases of this. So it's absolutely happening. We do our best to go through and catch those things. For us, it's really hearing feedback from drivers like yourself, looking into that specific area, and then we'll manipulate a couple things on our side to see if we can see these things triggering in an unhuman-like speed, where these deliveries are getting assigned to drivers. So absolutely something that's occurring in the industry as a whole. Definitely on our platform, we've heard more and more of this type of feedback. So it's something that we're focused on, without getting, I guess, too granular or speaking too much to the technology of it. A lot of the things that we're talking about where it's the distribution of these jobs. So like you referenced there at the end, getting a delivery offer that's 100 miles away or 50 miles away, changing the distribution process for who is offered these deliveries, I think will subtly cut this down. And then ultimately there's going to have to be some bigger policy changes on our side and bigger technology changes to make sure that we can continue to, I guess, completely eliminate the problem. And right now we use a third party to help us power and orchestrate our driver application. In the future, that may not be the case, but we're working hand in hand with them currently to make sure that we're addressing this as aggressively as possible.
Okay, I really appreciate that, because to spend 4 and 5 hours, trying to put a schedule, I'm like, time is money.
Absolutely.
I could be out, picking up, driving for another company at that point, but I'm sitting here, my eyes hurt, and you get a 18-year-old that's sitting here and he can't catch it. Something is definitely wrong. So I do appreciate that. I think those are my only 2 questions at this time. You kind of touched on, because I know you got other people in the queue, the thing about those large orders. Like I did an order one time for $1,300. Mm-hmm. And I think I made about $60 after I asked, got adjustments. I had to call in and ask. But I just felt like on an order that big, I got this big wagon going everywhere with all these orders. I felt that I should have made at least $130 off of it. That's what I felt. But it's still better than Uber Eats and, Grubhub. But I think on huge orders like that, it should be a little bit more incentive for all the work that we do put in. But otherwise, I'm going to tell you, so far, I've only been on the platform a couple of weeks. I love it. So that's awesome. It. But the box situation was the most important question. Thank you so much for your time. Absolutely. Thank you so much for calling in.
All right.
You're welcome. And I appreciate the platform too. Thank you.
Absolutely.
All right. Thank you for calling, caller. Thank you for calling. All right.
And this is so great. I'm jotting down some notes here on kind of like what are the most pressing things. And obviously we hear feedback from drivers all the time. Mm-hmm. But I love the platform that you've provided, that you've built, because this is such valuable stuff for us. This is awesome.
Yeah. And what I love the most about the delivery family, they'll tell you just like it is, man.
Yeah.
They'll say, hey, UDM, you was tripping in the last live stream.
Absolutely.
They will let you know.
And I love it so much too, because I started out with this company taking deliveries and then moved out west all by myself and was taking so many catering deliveries with us. So all this stuff resonates with me. I know what goes into taking a $2,000 order, a $3,000 order, and especially if you're trying to pull something like that off all by yourself. So I definitely understand the adjustment, the incentive stuff, and that a large order payment needs to be as transparent and as fair to the drivers as possible. So this is all great.
All right, so I'm looking at the chat here. I'm trying to take a call and then put something from the chat, and then take a call and then something from the chat. And I guess I'm just gonna choose the questions that I see. It's a lot to scroll through, so I'm gonna put this one up on the screen here. All right, this one is coming from Side Hustle 247. I am on Long Island. You are in part of Long Island in Garden City. I am further east, so if I sign up for Garden City, and you move further east to my area, can I change? Can I change areas later? That was the rest of it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's really for anyone across the country. For I would say 90% of the areas that we operate. For us, it's really just you reaching out to us, and we can move you from city to city. I believe recently that you went to Dallas. Is that right?
Yep, I did.
And we got you switched over there. Got you to take some deliveries out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, any time that you would sign up in a specific area, and maybe you're going kind of longer distances than you'd like, and you'd like to switch areas in the future, or anytime you're traveling across the country and want to make a couple bucks while you're in a different city, you can always reach out to our hotline directly, and we can get you moved over.
And what's that number? Just in case anyone is watching, I'm gonna put it in the chat, but I don't know about heart. Do you know about heart?
Sure.
All right. What is it?
315
315
630
630
3330.
3330.
That's it. Should I run over there and make sure everybody's aware that there's going to be an influx of calls, or what?
Hey, maybe you should. All right, so I just put the number in the chat. It's 315-630-3330, right? All right, so make sure you get that number. If you could just screenshot it, if you don't have time to kind of like copy it and put it in your address book and your contact list in your phone, just take a quick screenshot of that part in the chat right now so you can have that number. Let's take the next call. We do have 3 others in the queue, okay? So I'm going to try to get through these callers. I do have an order I got to go do, okay? It's right after 3, and it's approaching 2, okay? Yeah. So with that said, let's take this call. Thank you for calling another Chop It Up Live. Who are we? Oh, wow. No introduction needed. Go ahead. What's your name, sir?
My name is Robert. I'm out of Memphis, Tennessee area. 2 out of my 3 questions had already been answered, but I wanted to ask this one, dealing with recall orders, recall offers. What happened actually to the offer? Do you guys actually lose money? Do the restaurant lose money?
Yeah. Can you be a little bit more specific? So are you talking recalled offers while you're on a live order and maybe this delivery is in an hour and there's conflict? Or are you talking about pre-scheduled deliveries like a day or 2 in advance?
Well, we're talking about the ones within an hour, when we're talking about the ones that have been canceled by the customer or the restaurant.
Yes, I believe you'll receive a similar push notification, if not the same push notification, whether one of our dispatchers reviews a route and recalls a job or a customer cancels the job. You get similar alerts from the application, and we've put some measures in place so that if a delivery is canceled less than 2 hours to the pickup, that you're receiving an automated text from us confirming that you'll be paid as a driver. But it really just varies. So if you're on a delivery and you have a delivery coming up afterwards, but the restaurant makes you wait, we'll say 30 minutes, you're waiting at a pickup, and that now conflicts with your next delivery. In those instances, we'll communicate with our partners and identify with them. Should you stay at the initial delivery that you've been waiting for, or should we get you out for this other one and have you take that? So it really is a case-by-case basis. Sometimes we'll find backup for the delivery. We'll source another driver to go, kind of back this up. Sometimes they, as the restaurant or the marketplace, will find another delivery provider to take it. And then there's obviously times where you'll get push notification that things have been recalled. And that's just as simple as the customer canceling the order. So it really does vary by decision. That's by situation. That's kind of a tough one. Did I answer that decent for you?
Yeah, pretty much so. Thank you, UDM, for having this broadcast today, and thank you, Christian, for answering those questions for me.
No problem.
You guys have a great day, and we're back at trying to get the rest of these orders out for today.
All right, no problem. You have a great day.
Thanks for calling in.
All right, peace.
All righty. All right, let's put this question on the screen here. All right. There's a question here by Jack. I want to make sure that we get a chance to see this one. DeliverThat. I know UDM talked about a test that was taking place where drivers are given an entire route rather than just one. If it's not secret, is there any talk of expanding that or applying it? I remember one time I received 4 orders, like bam, 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 and they all matched up. And I reached out to you and I asked you if this was a test. You said yes. So, but it was just that one time. Another driver in the same area told me that they received that twice, right? Mm-hmm. So I wanted to know, I guess you could answer the question.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely something that we've tested. We've tested it in a couple different markets, pools of drivers, things like that. But really just a handful at this point. So it is something that we would like to take to scale. But obviously, when we're talking about people's livelihoods, we're talking about a whole community of drivers across the country. It's really important that we're troubleshooting the pain points early on in the process. The last thing we want to do is overhaul the distribution of the deliveries for drivers all across the country, impact their income, increase the level of competition for taking deliveries, things like that, without having every single kink worked out. So for us, that's A, the process internally as a team. How are we executing this? And B, the technology that's powering it. Are we able to take this to each market and do it the right way so that it does justice for us and for you guys? But what I'll say is we're very focused on taking the logistical burden off of the drivers, decreasing the level of competition and the bots, so to speak, that you're referencing, or the oversaturation of drivers going for the same delivery. And it only benefits both parties for us to help you all maximize your income, right? It's only beneficial to both parties if you're taking 4 deliveries on a consistent basis and getting paid well for those. That's great for us as a platform. That's great for you guys as drivers. So those are things that we're very focused on, and we just have to keep working.
All right, let's take the next caller in the queue. We have 2 more. All right, next call. Thank you for calling Chop It Up Live. Who are we speaking to?
You are speaking to Josh.
Josh, go ahead, Josh. I know earlier you called in, and then there was some stuff going on in the background. But go ahead, you got the floor.
All right. So I got a question. I asked UDM this a month or so ago, and he said, "Remember the question. If you get to the restaurant and the order's too big, and said drop off is about a half a mile down the street, can you take half that order, drop it off at the restaurant, come back and get the rest of the stuff if you can't fit it in your vehicle?" Because I'm just looking at it, it would be easier than to try to get another driver to come help you out. Instead, like, by the time you get back, drop half the order off and go back and get the second half, you'd probably be there done before a second driver came.
Yeah, completely understand. So again, it's the delivery industry is such a fun space because it's very much case by case basis. We absolutely have had times where exactly what you just described has happened, right? Go a short distance, get portions of the delivery dropped off, come back, get the rest, drop that off. There are also times where the restaurant or the marketplace that we're working with will dictate the number of drivers that we must assign to the delivery. And it's kind of out of our control, right? We're promising that 2 drivers will show up or a team of 5 drivers will show up. The expectation in those cases is that both drivers arrive at the same pickup time and you guys drop off together. But it is a case-by-case situation. So if you were to arrive to a restaurant, get 3/4 or half the order loaded in your vehicle and realize that you genuinely don't have enough space, or maybe you do not have enough equipment, that would be a situation where you absolutely call into our hotline and get live support to walk through and troubleshoot exactly what should happen. In those cases, our dispatch team is then either talking to the restaurant, talking to the marketplace partner, whoever the partner may be that dictates these things. or making a call on their own if they're unable to reach someone. So in that situation, it would depend how far you're going to drop off and how feasible it is to make a return trip for the rest of the food and still make it to the customer on time. It could also depend if there's a driver who's, at a location right next to you and could very easily get a call from our dispatch team and assist you at a restaurant right next door. So it really varies case by case on that question. But hopefully that gives you a little insight to how we see it, how we troubleshoot it.
Okay, and I got one more question. I ran into the issue yesterday. I went to pick up the food from the restaurant, and I asked for supplies like plates and forks and stuff. And the person kind of like shrugged me off like I was asking like a big question. So I texted dispatch and told them I was going to run to Wegmans that was like right next door to it and get that supplies. Like, what do you do in that instance when like the restaurant doesn't want to supply you with supplies like that?
And sorry, just to recap, you asked them for like plates, silverware, things like that?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
And they kind of shrugged me off about it.
Yeah, that's interesting. I would expect them to give you a certain level of transparency as well. But what I'll say is that the customer oftentimes is in a situation where they either pay extra for cutlery and for plates, maybe for paper cups, things like that, or they decide that they don't want to purchase those things. So personally, I've delivered to lots of offices who I'm not dropping off any silverware, I'm not dropping off any plates, and they have plates, they have silverware in the office, and they know they didn't order it. I've also been on the flip side of the coin where they didn't know that they had to pay extra and order silverware and plates. And I arrive and they're sadly disappointed, and I have to run out to the nearest store and grab them those supplies. In a case like that, you'll have a link at the bottom of our deliveries where you can submit for a reimbursement, and you can always text and call us with that information as well. We'll make sure you get compensated for it, but I do think there's situations where the guest just simply doesn't order it, and the restaurant doesn't see it on their invoice.
I appreciate it. And I just want to say your dispatch team is great. Like, anytime I've ever had issue, they always resolve with it.
Awesome. I appreciate that feedback very much.
All right, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Josh. Thanks for calling in.
All right, Josh. I appreciate the
no
call,
problem.
man.
All right, thanks, buddy.
All right. So before I even put the next comment on the screen, there was a very important question that just hit me a while back, right? And I'm gonna ask you publicly, all right, just to see, this one is coming off the hip, all right? So this is a very important question because I know majority of the drivers, they do not like the tip pool, right? We all know that, right? But the question is, could there possibly be an option to opt in or out of the tip pool?
Definitely not at this time. Whether that will ever be something that's explored by our company, it's tough to say. I can't confidently give you an answer one way or the other. And yeah, that's where we're at right now. There's definitely not an option currently. I'm not sure if there ever will be an option. I guess from our perspective, it's about making sure that the average across the entire community of our drivers that are working with us and have decided to partner with us, that they're being compensated fairly for these deliveries. That's why certainly the most alarming thing to me is how do we standardize the large order payment on these? But across the board, that brings up the average for every single delivery. And I think what we're kind of privy to on our side is seeing the customer data and the lack of gratuities that are being left on these catering orders. We're certainly working with our partners to try to enact processes and procedures that would increase the gratuities that we're seeing and specifically increase the percentage of total orders that have tips on them. But really what we're looking to do is make sure that our community is being paid well and the ecosystem overall as a gig economy or a food delivery space, so to speak, is protected by the fact that drivers are willing to take these orders, are paid fairly for these orders, and the food is getting from point A to point B. So I think that really achieves its goal right now. And it's very interesting. People either absolutely love the tip pool or they absolutely hate the tip pool. There's not a lot of people who are kind of just in between on it. It definitely comes down to the person's perspective. And so we just harp back to that core value of transparency.
All right. So I appreciate you for answering that as best as you could. I'm going to put this next comment on the screen, and then we have one more caller in the queue. So this is going to be the last comment and the last caller. Okay, because I'm looking at the time here. I do have to pick up an order for 3:10 p.m. So unfortunately, fam, if this angers you, I apologize in advance. But I try to get them all in there, you know. But I did see a comment where someone said this is very enlightening, and I appreciate if you appreciate this level of production, this level of attempt to get you as many answers as possible from DeliverThat. Do me a favor and squeeze the life out the blasted like button right now for me. All right. And let's put this last comment on the screen so we could get ready to get up out of here soon. All right. This one is coming from Ange. I have the same question about zones. Get a zillion offers for 20 to 50 plus miles away, but not that many for my area. At least I can't grab them. Clearwater, Florida, please get zones sooner rather than later. I try to get through it. It's like, give me a 15-second to read everything. It's just
Gone.
Yeah.
Gone. Yeah, Clearwater and Tampa are definitely good areas for us, and the St. Petersburg area there right next to Clearwater. But that being said, it is becoming a little bit more of a competitive area for us, so to speak. So I think we've touched pretty well on that, but I definitely appreciate the feedback, and we'll get zoning and the distribution down very soon.
All right. So let's take this very last call in the queue. All right. And then we will start wrapping it up. All right. Okay. Thank you for calling another Chop It Up Live. Who are we speaking to?
Hey, it's Bud Soda. So I'll be frank. I got like someone giving me feedback and then a generic email, and I'm kind of confused. The sentiment was you're not interested in going in populations below 100,000. So my question is, even if there's catering orders in there, Easy Cater in this market, would you not come to them being in New York and knowing my market so well, and I could tell you all the information that you could possibly need? You know, I don't mind going out in the forefront and recruiting drivers, recruiting restaurants. So is that a possibility to do, even if my population, there's 40,000 in the city and 20,000 on the military base next to me? So would you come to a area where a populace like that, or no?
Yeah, absolutely. It's really a case by case. Like we touched on during this, we don't aggregate the orders, so we're very dependent on the restaurant demand and the order volume that they're able to supply, or like you mentioned, like the Easy Cater orders that we're able to take in those areas. So we don't want to start a market and then have a situation where we're onboarding drivers who don't have work in front of them. So that's always a concern. But I do want to just dispel that. We're in several markets that have less than 100,000 people. We're in markets that have less than 40,000, 50,000 people. It's very much a case-by-case basis and the catering volume that's there. But it sounds like you've been in touch with someone on our team. So if you could maybe text back in and make it clear that you spoke on this platform, I could give you a call and we could connect, very directly and talk very specifically about what you're referencing.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. I'm hoping so, because like there's some days like I'll have 10 catering orders in a row, and then some days I'll have like none or one. It's very dependent, but like drivers here would look at it more as a part-time to fill in the gaps kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We're not looking to do it just full time.
Absolutely. And that's really the nature of the industry is the volume fluctuation. Absolutely. Thanks for calling in.
All right, Bud Soda.
Thanks, bro.
Appreciate you, bro. Have a good one. All right. So we're going to close the lines there. All right.
This was fun. This was fun, man.
I'm glad you had fun.
Yeah,
I am glad you had fun, man. get myself back up on the screen here. All right, so yeah, this was definitely fun. I'm glad that you were able to answer a lot of the questions that I wasn't able to ask, even the ones that just came randomly. I know I just want to put this out there like you said earlier, Chris, some are going to love it, some are not, and it doesn't matter what app it is. Some are going to love it, some are not. It's the same thing with every single app. Some like shopping, some don't. Some like delivering packages, some don't. So the thing is, I feel if it works for you, it's for you. And I feel like, hey, it works for me. I capitalize on it. I'm with the tip pool because I've experienced getting a 1 cent tip before. Yep. And I'm like, I would have preferred you leave me a 0 versus 1 cent. What am I going to do with a penny?
Yep. The old slap in the face there.
Yeah. And I've also experienced the zero tip. Now, I know there's some drivers that feel strongly about tipping. I am the type of driver that say, hey, if I'm going to accept it, that means it was worth it to me. Right? Yep. And whatever happens after the fact, that's not my business. I accepted the payment. I said, hey, if I like the pay that I see, I don't care where it's coming from. Somebody's paying me, Yep. And that's my mentality. And I know some other drivers feel the same, but I also know some drivers disagree with my way of looking at things as well. So, DeliverThat is for some and it's not for some. But in the end, if it's for you, or if you never heard of it and you did not know all these things and all these questions that could have been answered, I hope this stream answered a lot of those questions for you. All right. So, Chris, at this time, man, I got to salute for coming on here. You did not want the questions. I got to put that out there. You did not want the questions. You wanted them to just throw them at you.
From the hip.
So you could be as transparent as possible. So I appreciate you for taking that because I've had people there was like an interview of some sort. They would say, hey, can I get the questions? How is this going to go? And then I would tell them like, hey, it's just going to be random questions. And their first fear was like, oh, he's going to try to dig me into a hole or something. Yep. Like he's going to do something crazy. And I'm like, no, we're just going to have some fun and we're going to ask the real questions. I feel a lot of real questions were asked and a lot of real answers were given. Now, at this time, again, I got to salute to you. If you're in the chat, if you appreciated Chris for coming on and answering the real questions and giving some real answers, even when he was not able to give a complete answer for certain things like the opt-in, opt-out, and he still was able to say, like, at this time, I don't know. I don't think so. Mm-hmm. He kept it real with us. I want y'all to give a salute in the chat. Just a salute. If you know the emoji, just give the salute emoji or just type the word salute to Chris for coming on here and just shooting from the hip. All right. So, Chris, at this time, if you have anything else you want to say to the fam, this is you have the floor.
Definitely appreciate everyone who's on our platform, all the drivers who power this ecosystem that are not on our platform. I wish all of you guys the best, and I appreciate so much for having me on here because this was fantastic. So thank you, man, for the opportunity to speak directly, speak from the heart, and come on here and have an open dialogue about all the things that make this industry great, that make this platform great, and all the things that we're still working on as an industry, as a platform. I definitely appreciate it. So thank you all.
All right. So let me just do a quick outro and then we're going to chop it up after. Okay.
Absolutely.
All right. So everybody just wave bye to Chris. Bye, Chris. Just say deuces. You gonna give me a deuces? No? No, you got to say it too. Deuces.
Deuces.
All right, fam. That was Christian from DeliverThat, the VP of Operations. like I said, it's for some and it's not for some. If you're in a market and it's not great for you, if you're against the tip pool, I'm with the tip pool and I have my reasons. I've explained it before, and I'm gonna be with it. I've gotten a lot of no tip orders. I've gotten a lot of low tip orders, and I see the benefits in the tip pool. I also understand the flip side of things where a driver might not feel like, hey, you know what? Why I got to share my tips with someone else that is not doing as good of a job as I am. I wish everybody well. I just hope that person gets their money. You do what you got to do on that side. I'm going to focus on me. Why? Because I'm independent. I'm an independent contractor. I got to look out for my business. So if it comes with the tip pool, I'm cool with it, because I've been making a decent chunk of change in my market with DeliverThat. And this is excluding sponsorship money. I share my earnings with you guys as often as I can, so you guys can see how much I'm actually earning as a driver, not as a sponsorship partner, a sponsored partner. I want you guys to see this, especially if you're in the market that I'm in. If we share the same market and you're not on DeliverThat, then you might be missing out on something. Because I also know the other apps are not as great as they used to be in my market. So if you enjoyed the stream, again, I'm going to ask you one last time, squeeze the life out the blast that like button. And if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit subscribe, click the bell, and join the family, because nobody else will understand what you go through except another driver just like you. And I will see y'all. Oh, actually, you know what? Before I even wrap up to that level, I got to give some shout outs. So say what's up in the chat so I can say what's up back to you. I cannot stay here. I only got about 10 more minutes to get up out of here, out of the house, So the next 5 minutes, please just say what's up really quick so I can say what's up back to you. Come on now. Come on, fam. Say what's up. What's up, DB? What's up, Jack? Let's put y'all up on the screen. Let's get it. Let's get it. All right. What's up, Nyko? What's up, DB? I can't read the comment. I'm sorry. Let's go. Let's go. Jose Batista, what's good? The Driven Dad, what's up? Pop Pro, what's up? Jack, what's up? Pia, Broderick, what's up? Jose Lopez, what's up? DB, I already showed you some love. Brian Kern, what's up? Lady T Express, what's up? How you doing? I don't know how to say your name, but I'm gonna call you K. Hey, what's up, K? All right, hold up. Norellis, I hope I said that right. All right, what's up? Who else we got here? What's up, Robert Wright? Long time. What's up, Tracy? 0133, Solus Christus. I think that's all we got. That's at the very bottom of the screen. So I appreciate y'all. That was only 1 minute. Y'all did. That's record time, y'all. With shout outs. That's record time. Okay. All right. Oh, see, now Mitch want to come in here. What's up, Mitch? What's up? I did not cuss. Mitch. Okay. All right. What's up, Mitch? What's up, Charlene Edwards? How UDM just got up in the laundromat. Oh, well, you're going to have to watch the replay. I apologize, Charlene. There's a lot of information in it. All right. Mile High Salute. What's up? I said 5 minutes. Now they coming in again, Chris. They coming in again. All right. Jonathan K. What's up? Fellow Miami driver. That's what's up. I salute. All right. Kerry Sanders. I think that's it, because some of the other people, they repeating. Okay. So with that said, again, fam, squeeze the life out the like button and hit subscribe, click the bell, and join the family. I'll see y'all in the next episode. All right? Have a good one. Deuces. There it is.